All right, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's good to see all of you. I need you to please turn your video on. You don't have an option this year with the video, it must be on. Remember that the verification letter at the end of the syllabus is due tonight at 11:59 p.m. Make sure you turn that in, make sure you turn it in on time. Also, the review one, that's the first assignment. Looks like this is also due tonight, and I am going to be answering questions today. The whole purpose of that review is to try to fill in some gaps and holes from elementary school or middle school that the teachers didn't teach, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that even honor students, I think because you guys are pushed so hard that you have gaps and holes in your math background. So I'm trying to fill in those gaps and holes so that we do not have problems later with more advanced mathematics. So yesterday in groups, we did a pretty good job. I'm going to still continue to train you in groups, work in groups, because no one's ever trained them and it's a big disaster. And so basically what I'm doing, one thing is I'm trying to get you to know each other so that you connect on social networks, because you're going to need each other to help each other out. I mean, maybe the first time in your life that you've ever had trouble with math. So I know a lot of you, your whole life, you've just done your math in 10 seconds and you're done and you never have any work because you know what you're doing. This is going to be challenging for you. So you have to be able to collaborate with your classmates. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you know them. So you're not going to just randomly contact somebody that you don't know. So the group work, one of the purposes is to not only to train you to work effectively, so it's useful to you, but to get to know one another so that you can collaborate with each other when you're in trouble. There was some profanity in the groups. Just know I can hear you. So please don't use profanity in class. And I am listening to you. Also, some people marked themselves present, and I took attendance and they weren't there. So they got marked absent. So let me just tell you that I love playing games. So if you're playing games, just know that I win most of the games I play. I'm a fierce competitor, and I will win. And I hope you're not playing games with me, because I am here for you. And I'm working very hard to give you the best of me. And I expect the best from you. So, but let me tell you, life is full of choices. So if you want to make it look like you're here and go and play Xbox, you can do that. I mean, I can't guarantee you're going to pass the class, but you can absolutely make it look like you're here and go play Xbox. That's fine. But I can't guarantee that you're going to be okay with 60% of your grade, and that's the exams. All right. Well, this review one is 11:59, and what I want to do is I do want to talk about this. Before we get started, I do want to talk about assignments in general. For this assignment, you're going to have a bunch of pages. And what you're going to do is you're going to put all 54 problems in one packet. And on the outside, you're going to put your name. You're going to start, when I open it up, see problem number 1. Fold it, name, date, period, assignment number. You are not going to turn this in. This goes in your notebook. You're going to open it up and you're going to put it in your notebook. So you might be wondering, why am I doing all this work and she's not even looking at it? I'm looking at it. When it comes time for an exam, you have to do your scratch paper like this and turn it in. If you do not turn in your scratch paper in an organized manner, I won't grade it, because I'm not grading garbage. So it's hard enough for me to see the work online, but I'm training you on how to do the work. That's why we're doing the assignments. The assignments are also useful to you so that you can review them before an exam. So these are very valuable, okay? But you're only turning in the assignment percentage, but these are valuable to you. Perfect practice is going to give you perfect scores on the exams. So you do want to do the assignments the way I'm specifying. You do want to work all 54 problems and do the percentage and submit it to me. You do want to grade your paper and make corrections at the end. And the reason why you're doing that, so you see these flags of, oh my gosh, I remember, they're at the end, so it reminds you not to do that. If you make your corrections inside the assignment, you'll forget about it. So that's why I'm having you do the corrections at the very end of the assignment. So they're little flags to you to remind you that you messed up on something. Now, somebody asked me, do we have to make all the corrections? No. But you do realize that the person who does make all the corrections is going to be more successful on the exam. If you only make 2 corrections, we can't guarantee you're going to get them right on the exam. So it's like this. The more corrections you make, the more chance there is of you getting them correct on an exam. All right, so with that, let's do some problems, okay? So what problems would you guys like to see?
On the order of operations one, can you do number 11?
Are you talking about the dot to dot?
No, the other one.
Okay. Number 11?
Yeah.
Okay, remember nested parentheses look like that. This is a computer thing. So we're not doing, this is not computer class. This is a math class. And there's 3 things I'm going to teach you that I'm going to teach you math, but that's not the most important thing. All right, the most important thing that I'm going to teach you this year is to help you to be a good person of character. So the most important thing to me is that you are responsible, respectful, you have integrity, you're honest, you're trustworthy, because that's what's going to really establish your strong friendships and relationships in your life and at work. If you learn a little bit of math, cool, but that's not the most important thing to me. Okay, there's 2 other things. First of all, I want you to be able to speak mathematical vocabulary, okay? And the second thing is I want you to write correct mathematical notation, okay? So I want you to be able to speak the language, and I want you to be able to write the notation correctly. You know why? Because the correct notation eliminates confusion, believe it or not. So correct notation eliminates confusion. So check this out, number 11. So this is 25 plus 23, parenthesis, divided by 6 plus 2. And what they did is they put a parenthesis and then another parenthesis and square it, divided by, I'm just going to write it down here, 7 plus 11. All right. So we're going to follow the order of operations. We're going to do parentheses first. So what happens is the square bracket drops and you get 48 divided by 8 squared. Then when we do these parentheses, it would be divided by 18. All right, we're still doing parentheses. So remember, we're not going to divide, we're going to multiply. So 8 times what is 48? 6. Now we're going to do exponents. This is not 12, by the way. This is 6 times 6. And now 18 times what is 36? 2. Now, a lot of times students have told me, Miss Birch, it's so easy when you do it. I hear that all the time. It's so easy when you do it. And the reason why is I'm writing my work neatly, I'm not skipping steps, and I'm showing correct mathematical notation. Okay, I want you to do emulate what I'm doing. I'm modeling what I want. So for those of you who are like, well, I didn't do it that way, I'm just going to do it my way. I'm just going to do it my way. Well, guess what? When you start doing 20-step problems, don't ask me for help. So I'm giving you baby food right now so that you can chew on the meat. If you have your own way of doing it, don't ask me to be the lifesaver on the 20-step problem. So I'm showing you how to do math. Your problem should be very close to looking exactly like this. If it looks very much different than this, you're doing something, I don't know, it's not on the up and up. So it should look very, very similar to this, almost exactly like this. So this was a 4-step problem. I've taken every math class that exists. If I were doing this problem, this is how I do it. I'm not doing this for you. This is how I would do the problem. Okay, go ahead. Other questions?
Do number 21
On which sheet?
on the second one, not the dot one.
Okay. So 21 on this? Yes? Excuse me, 21 on that?
Yes.
Okay, this is -3 squared plus 2 times the quantity. 11 minus 4 is 21 squared. Okay, now remember we talked about this? This negative is not part of the power. So is this a +9 or a -9?
Positive.
Nope.
No, it's negative.
Okay, well, hold on. We're not going to worry about it on that step. We're going to do the order of operations. So inside the parentheses, we get 11. Now, watch. I said the other day that if the negative is inside, it's affected by the square. If the negative is on the outside, it really means this. And about 80% of you didn't know this. It really ticks me off because I'm like, how are students getting through Algebra 1 and making this mistake? Aren't the teachers looking at work? Teachers should be looking at work. So this negative is not part of the power. See this negative? It's not part of the power. And if you made your mistake, that's probably where you made it. Now you guys are writing this down in your notes, right? I'm clearing up a bunch of stuff. When I write stuff down, you should be writing it in your notes. You are, right? You're writing stuff in your notes when I clear it up. So you shouldn't be writing this in your assignment. You should be writing it in your notes. And then what you do is try to do it later on your own. So you can copy everything I do, you can copy. But what you should be doing is you should be writing it in your notes to see if you can do it by yourself later on and use my notes as a key. All right, here we go. Not going to do exponents yet. I'm still working on the parentheses. Now, let me show you something. See this right here? This is the table you should be following. And what I want you to train yourself to do is 2 things. You figure out what is the sign, what do I do? What is the sign and what do I do? So what you have here is a positive and a negative. So the sign depends on the bigger number and opposites subtract. So I'll say it again. You should train yourself to do 2 things. What's the sign? It depends on the bigger number, negative, and opposite subtract. So did you guys see what I did? You see me write down the sign, and then you see me do the problem. Watch. Positive and negative depends on the sign of the bigger number and opposites subtract. What's the sign? What do I do? What's the sign? What do I do? What's the sign? What do I do? All right, so that was parentheses. That's not parentheses because there's no operation. So now we're going to do exponents. Well, that's not part of the power. That's a -9. That is part of the power. So a negative squared is positive. Think of it as a -1 quantity squared is positive. That's 25. Now we're going to do multiply or divide from left to right. Don't add. This is 50. Positive and a negative depends on the sign of the bigger number positive, and opposites subtract. So tricky problem. You have to know exactly what you're doing. So I hear students all the time, I don't know why she's so twisted. I just missed it by a negative. Well, guess what? You missed the whole concept of algebra. The whole concept is positive and negatives. Not only that, but if you say +4 instead of -4, +4 is down there on the number line, -4 is all the way up. They're completely different. So you can't just miss negatives now. You cannot miss negatives. Got to get the negatives right. Did you guys follow this? This is a -9. This is a -16. This, I'll just tell you, watch. Some number, let me see if I can write this. When something's raised to a negative power, the result is positive powers. When a negative is raised to an even power, how do I write this before? I wrote this before in a good way. Okay, here we go. When this power is even, the answer is going to be positive. When the power is odd, like 3, 4, 5, the answer is going to be negative. So this right here is a negative raised to an even power. So a negative raised to an even power like 2, 4, 6, or 8, it's going to be positive. A negative raised to an odd power is always negative. So I'll say it again. A negative raised to an even power is positive. A negative raised to an odd power is negative. Okay, go ahead. Other questions?
Can you do number 28 on the dots?
28. After this, I'm going to give you a problem off the new sheet. See if you can do it. All right. Did you say 28?
Yeah, I think it's the like 9 divided by 9 plus 9.
Okay, first of all, write it like this. Do not, that slash is a computer symbol. And this is plus 9 to the 9 minus 9. So first of all, any number divided by itself is 1, except 0. 0 divided by 0 is indeterminate. But 1 divided by 1 is 1, 7 divided by 7 is 1, 9 divided by 9 is 1. So before we do this division, we can do the powers first. It's not going to affect it. But this would be 9 to the 0, right? And any number to the 0 power, because it's 0, 0 to the 0 is indeterminate. Any number to the 0 power, 5 to the 0, 9 to the 0, 10 to the 0 is 1. So 1. Follow that? Hello?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right, let me give you a problem, and you do it on your, I'm going to take this off review too, and do it in your notes. And let's see what you get, okay? Okay, this is off of the new assignment. And by the way, the new assignment is going to be due on Sunday night, because it's more challenging. I'll show you in a minute. So it's going to be due on Sunday night. Today's assignment's due tonight. Okay, here, try this problem. It's number 7 on the new assignment. All right, go ahead and try that one and shout out your answer when you're done.
Miss Birch, do our notes need to be the same format as like our assignments?
No.
Okay.
The notes can be however you want. No, the notes are not 2 column. No, the notes are not.
Miss Birch, so when we
Yeah.
do the like right now you're gonna go over the assignment and do the corrections on it. Like on that, can we write it in pen? Can we do that in pen? Or
You cannot do the corrections in pen. You can grade your paper in pen, but when you make corrections at the end, you have to do them in pencil.
Okay.
So you can annotate your notes in pen. You can grade your notes in your paper, your assignments in pen, but the corrections have to be done in pencil. Okay, go ahead and do this in your notes and tell me what you get.
814.
I got
Any other
814.
answers?
I got 680.
680? Hey, this is just for fun. Anybody else want to shout out your answers?
I got 94.
94? All right. Give me a thumbs up if we can go on. I'll give you a couple minutes if you need a couple minutes. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go on. Nobody? Okay, couple minutes. Anybody else want to give me your answer?
I got 132.
132 or 22?
22.
I got 814.
Okay. Any other answers? Okay, give me a thumbs up if I can go on.
I also got 1814. I mean, 814.
Ready? Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's do the order of operations. So we're doing what's in the parentheses. And what happens is those square brackets drop off to 20 minus 6. So you could actually do these exponents if you wanted to because they're separate with a plus. But anyhow, positive and negative depends on the bigger number, positive, and opposites subtract. So remember, you figure out the sign and what do you do? Okay, now we're doing exponents. This is not 6, by the way. This is 2 times 2 times 2. I don't like dots, so I'm not going to use it. This is 10 times 10 or 100. Do multiply or divide from left to right, 800. And you can, let me just write it. This is 800 plus 14. But let me tell you something. If I were doing this problem, I would probably skip this step. So you can skip steps, make mistakes. So up here, I saw that this was 814. So you can skip that if you want. Just don't skip important steps. Got it? Don't skip important steps. All right, so 814 was the lucky guess. All right, we're gonna hold on to that review 1 for a minute, so keep it handy. I want to show you review 2. Okay, here's review 2. It starts out with an order of operations puzzle, and then this is the one that's going to be challenging, and this is why I made it Sunday night. All right, so let me read this to you. This is in your classroom. It's called The Problem of the Day for August 2020. All right, the month of August can be represented by 8. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. The integers 1 from 20 can be represented by using 6 eighths. So let me show you. Now you might need a lot of scratch paper for this. So this assignment is going to have a lot of paper. Okay, so basically you have these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 20. And you have to use 6 eighths. So you cannot use more than 6 eighths. Now you can use add, subtract, multiply, or divide, but you have to come up with these integers over here. So when you start doing this, you're just going to guess. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to say, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to put plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, and just see what I get. So I'm going to do all the positives. So that's 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 32, or 8 times 4.
Are these still notes, or do we put it as like, put it in the 2 columns?
These are notes.
Okay.
So remember I told you we're not following the order of operations? Valerie, I need you to mute yourself. So a negative and a negative is a negative and you add. A negative and a negative is not a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. A negative and a negative is a negative and you add. So we just found the number 16. So what you would do is under 16, you would write the answer. And you keep this in your notes, in your scratch paper to turn in. So we found 16. Cool. All right, let's try it again. And you can use mine if you want. Whenever we do something together, you're welcome to use it. But what I would do is I would write it in your notes and you try to do it on your own. So check this out. What if I did this? You can use parentheses. So you can use parentheses to force things to happen. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. Plus 8 divided by 8 is 1. Plus 8 divided by 8 is 1. So we just found the number 3. So you would write down what you got here at 3. So far we found 16 and we found 3. All of this work is done on a separate sheet of paper. All right, let's try one more. You have to use 6. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use it a different way. They said to use 6 eighths, right? That's 6 eighths, isn't it? And isn't any number over itself 1? So we just found 1. So your job is to start guessing and come up with as many as you can. And it's going to be hard when you get at the end because you have to come up with all 20. All right, does anybody have any questions about this part of the assignment? This is the review too.
Can we use exponents?
Yes, but let me tell you something. When you use exponents, you would have to do this.
Could we do 8 to the 8 as an
Okay.
exponent minus 8, like in
Yes.
parentheses?
Yeah, you could do 8 minus 8. You could do that and take up 3/8. Yep, you could do that. So it'd be 8 to the 0. Yes, you could do that. Sure can. Just remember though, you have to use 6/8. You can't use like 8 squared or 8 cubed or something. It has to be 8s only, 6/8. All right, any questions about the problem of the day? Okay, have fun with it. Students spend a lot of time on this, especially my honor students, because they see it as a puzzle. So good luck with it. All right. Okay, who would like me to work another problem from review 1? We're going to work another problem from review 1. Then I'm going to give you another problem off of review 2.
Can you do number 15?
On which one?
Dots.
15 on the dots. All right, I worked this last period. And I think I have a typo on my sheet, so I'm going to look at my other page. Okay, so 15 is the square root of 16 plus 1 quantity squared. All right. Do you guys remember what perfect squares are? So 1 is a perfect square, 4 is a perfect square, 9 is a perfect square, 16 is a perfect square, 25 is a perfect square, 49 is a perfect square. And when I say perfect square, the definition of a square in geometry is 4 equal sides, 4 equal angles. So if for 9, that's why it's a perfect square, because it creates a square. For 16, creates a perfect square. So here's the deal. When you're working with square roots, if you have a perfect square, 1 gets to come out. So for example, if you have the square root of 16, he's a perfect square. He is 4 times 4, right? So pretend he's in jail. If he's in jail, you have to have 2 for 1 to come out. So same thing as square root of 25. Square root of 25 is 5 times 5, so a 5 gets to come out. Now what about this one though? Well, if you broke 8 into prime numbers, it would be 2 times 2 times 2. So a 2 gets to come out, but doesn't a 2 get stuck? Yes, because 8 isn't a perfect square. 8 is a perfect cube. So 16 and 25 are perfect squares, but 8 is a perfect cube. We don't say perfect cube, we just say cube. 8 is a cube. Okay, anyhow, little lesson on square roots there. Okay, over here. So we know that square root of 16 is square root of 4 times 4. So a 4 gets to come out. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We're doing with parentheses. Don't multiply. Got to do exponents. So there you go. 75.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's try another problem off of review 2. Okay, you guys ready? Write this down. So yesterday when I had you guys working in groups, that's why I wanted you to talk out loud, because all of your work should be the same. So it should all look very, very similar. I mean, there'll be sometimes when you guys disagree with things, you have to decide, but your work should all look super similar. All right, let's try another problem. All right, here we go. This is number 11 on the new review. It says this, square bracket, 6 minus, write it down and do this, please. Quantity squared minus 10 divided by 2. Those steps, write correct mathematical notation and follow the order of operations. Shout out your answer when you get it.
I got 45.
Anybody else?
I got 95.
Okay, hold on. 95?
Yeah, I got 95 as well.
Okay. Anybody else get something different?
I got -1.
-1? Okay, anybody else want to throw your answer in?
I got 44.
Okay.
I also got 95.
Okay. Anybody else?
I also got 45.
I also got 45.
And you got what? 45?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys, somebody just sent me a remind and it says, on review 1, do we put 2 different assignment percentages? No, it's 1 assignment. So when I give an assignment, it's 1 assignment. You have to add those up. It's 30 plus what, 24 for a total of 54. So those are not 2 different assignments. That's 1 assignment. Okay, here we go, over here. All right, so let's try this and see what happens. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right, you ready? Isn't this a positive and a negative? So doesn't this depend on the bigger number negative? And you subtract? Yes, no? Positive and negative, depends.
Yes.
Opposites subtract. Okay, now, isn't this a plus? Now, I'm not saying a negative and a negative is a positive. What I'm saying is that 2 negative signs together is a positive, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 So this is 6 plus 4. Still doing parentheses. All right, now exponents. 10 times 10 is 100. Don't subtract, or you're going to get the wrong answer. Isn't this 10? And isn't this a negative divided by a positive? And isn't a negative divided by a positive negative? And 2 times what is 10? So isn't this 95? Right? Can't subtract. If you subtract, you're going to get the
Yes.
wrong answer. So a couple tricky things. Let's just go over it, okay? Can you guys see this? All right, look. First of all, This positive and negative depends on the sign of the bigger number. When you have two negative signs, it makes a positive. Do not do anything over here yet. So 10 squared is 10 times 10 or 100. Do not subtract. You'll get the wrong answer. So isn't this a negative 10 divided by 2? So wouldn't that be a negative divided by a positive is automatically negative? Fine. Did you guys follow that?
Yeah, I got that.
Is it okay? You guys okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys want to do it? Well, I think we have time for one more problem off the review one.
Can you do number 6? Not the dotted one, the other one?
Okay. 6 on the one that's not dots. For some reason, I don't even know where it is. I lost it. How could I lose it just standing here? All right, you guys haven't seen me move. I found it. Okay, what number was it? 6?
Yes.
Okay, it's 6 times 3 squared plus 2 squared times 5. Okay, there are no parentheses, so we'll do exponents. So this is, I don't like those dots, but I'll use it. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. I really don't like dots. You should really be writing it like this. So now the order of operations, you multiply, that's 54 plus 20, which is 74. All right. So what I'd like you to do right now is I would like you to unmute yourself and tell me one thing you learned, either today or the other day. So please unmute yourself and tell me, what did you learn today? What was cleared up? Because I want you all to hear that everybody's confused about a whole bunch of stuff. Okay? So unmute yourself and tell me one thing you learned.
That when they're in parentheses, the negatives, it turns into a positive when the exponent is 2.
Yep. When it's in the parentheses and you have an even power, it becomes positive, right? When it's outside, it's not affected by the power. Okay, thank you. Okay, what else did somebody learn?
For the example number 11, where it was the bracket and it said six minus parentheses 5 minus 9 parentheses bracket exponent to 2. The reason why I got it wrong was because when I subtracted 5 and 9, I put negative parentheses negative 4, and I just put 6 plus 4 instead of, I put 6 minus 4 instead of 6 plus 4. I don't know if I
Okay. Yeah, so just remember when you have two negative signs together, not two negative numbers. Two negative signs is a positive, but two negative numbers, a negative and a negative is a negative, and you add. Two negative signs like this, that's a positive 4. But two negative numbers is a negative and you add. Okay, anything else?
I learned that when you do like when it's the brackets, when it would be a bracket and then the parenthesis would be like the exponent would be outside the bracket. I would solve the exponent before what's inside the bracket and
Oh,
so my numbers would be like doubled what you would get. So then
yeah. Okay, so look. Yeah, you do not want to deliver a power across the sum. You cannot do that. That's a major thing that people are messing up on, not just you, a whole bunch of people.
No, I would okay, let's say the thing was like that and then I would do 2 plus 3 and then next to it I would write like another parenthesis and then 2 plus 3. I would do the like I would break the apart. That's what I would do.
Okay. Yeah, you always want to simplify. Always simplify in parentheses.
Yeah, sometimes I would get the same answer, but right now when you're doing some of them, I would do everything right except for that, and then it would mess up my whole problem.
Okay, perfect, perfect. All right, you guys, class is over. I think it is, right? 11:55, I'm a minute late.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a good day, okay? Don't forget to turn in the verification letter. Do not forget to turn in review 1, the assignment percentage, okay? And I did put review 2 in Google Classroom. It's due Sunday night. You guys have a good day. Good job today. Good job. Way to work. I'll see you later. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Have a nice day.
Have a good day.
Have a nice day.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a good day. Have a good day, guys. Have a good one.